All right, so let's get things started. Welcome to getting started with the HubSpot Deep Research Connector for ChatGPT. My name is Melissa, and I'll be your host and moderator for today's discussion. I'm on the platform marketing team here at HubSpot, and I've been here for just over 3 years. As mentioned, we'll have dedicated time for live Q&A at the end. So while you are welcome to submit questions at any point throughout the webinar through the Zoom Q&A functionality, we may save answering certain questions till the end live if we feel it's a common theme or could benefit everyone from hearing the answer. Again, the webinar is being recorded and the recording will be emailed to you after. Now, we are so excited to be hosting all of you today, where you'll get the chance to hear from our incredible lineup of speakers, who are also just a portion of the team behind the making of the HubSpot connector with OpenAI. But before we do, I wanted to kick things off with a quick poll on your experience level with the connector, if you have any already. Just please take a moment to let us know how much experience you already have connecting your CRM of choice or HubSpot to ChatGPT. Cool. It looks like a lot of people are here to learn, which is very exciting. Great. Thanks so much for your answers there. Now let's hear from our speaker lineup, Sejal, Ricky, and Nicole. Sejal, why don't you kick us off?
Hi everyone, I'm Sejal Parekh. I am product manager at HubSpot. I'm directly responsible working with the team who built the HubSpot Deep Research Connector for ChatGPT, and I'm eager to learn from you all and show you what we've got.
Hey everyone, my name is Ricky, and I'm a technical product marketer who works with the developer audience right here at HubSpot.
And it seems we may have lost Nicole, our legal partner, but hopefully she'll get back on and she'll be able to share some of her insights with all of you a little bit later. Great. So thanks for those intros. And just so you all know how we'll be spending our time together for the next hour or so, today we're going to cover a quick overview of the HubSpot Deep Research and the connector. There have been a lot of questions about data protection, so we'll address that head on as well. We'll show you how to enable the connector, then showcase some prompts and open it up for Q&A. And as a reminder, if you're just joining us, please drop questions in the Q&A function in Zoom so we can be sure to get you those answers. And with that, Ricky, want to get us started?
Sure. Thanks, Melissa. And before we jump right into the fun part, I wanted to just spend a few minutes to help set some context for those who are new. And for some of you, this is just going to be a super quick refresher. So what exactly is HubSpot? HubSpot is an AI-powered customer platform that's designed to help your business grow faster, with solutions spanning across the core parts of your business, from marketing and sales all the way to commerce and operations. All of these tools and solutions are built on a smart CRM and a unified data foundation that contain over 1,900 integrations that your business can actually leverage and use. So this begs the question, why do over 200,000 businesses around the globe actually trust HubSpot to help them grow and connect with their customers? Well, the answer is super simple. It boils down to HubSpot being an easy, fast, and unified platform. It brings together all the tools and data you need in one place to be as productive as possible, which is one of the core reasons why we were so excited and eager to launch this deep research connector. And one other quick thing before we jump into the connector itself, I wanted to help us cover this term, deep research, since you'll be hearing it thrown around a ton during this webinar. So what exactly is it? Deep research is an agentic feature that browses the internet, analyzes content, and synthesizes insights from hundreds of sources based on the prompts that you give it. Imagine it being like having a full-time researcher or a full-time analyst working for you around the clock. Now, imagine what results, insights, and real value you can deliver if your HubSpot data was actually plugged into a powerful tool like this. And we're giving you a way to actually do just that. So the moment that you've all been waiting for, introducing the HubSpot Deep Research Connector with ChatGPT, a seamless way for you to get OpenAI's deep research capabilities on your HubSpot CRM data directly within a tool you already use. We're bringing you a brand new way to get contextual in-depth analysis and multi-step reasoning on your CRM data right in ChatGPT. And the real value of this connector is really its ability to empower every team, all the way from service to marketing to sales. It's really helping you make data-backed decisions with insights at scale. And one of my favorite parts and the best part about this all, I think, is there's no complex technical setup required. We did all the heavy lifting for you. And for those of you who are actually really interested in this and love to geek out on it, we have an entire blog written by our engineering team on how they built this connector in just a matter of weeks. So with this, I'm going to pass it over to Nicole to talk a bit about the importance around data privacy and security with this connector.
Thank you, Ricky. Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nicole Payne. I'm the legal partner to our HubSpot team that supports the HubSpot connector. And my apologies for missing the introduction. My Wi-Fi dropped. But anyways, I'm so excited to see so much interest in this new awesome functionality. And I'm so happy to be here today to talk about our approach to data privacy and security with the OpenAI connector. When we look at new tooling and features for our customers, we start with this question: how do we give customers access to powerful new tools without compromising in any way the trust you have in HubSpot to protect your data? So with the HubSpot OpenAI connector, there are 4 key priorities we focused on. The first was that your permissions go with you. We know that customers make intentional and important permissioning choices in their accounts. That's why we made sure that when your CRM data flows into ChatGPT via the connector, your HubSpot user permissions go with it. For example, individual sales reps will only see pipeline data for deals they have permission to view. This ensures that only users with the right level of access in HubSpot can see that data in ChatGPT. The second, keep your competitive edge. We made it non-negotiable at launch that ChatGPT's Deep Research Connector does not use your CRM data to train its AI models. This protects your business insights and ensures that they won't surface elsewhere, like in a competitor's chat session. Third, access is limited, and that was by design. We chose to minimize what data the connector can access. So it has read-only access to standard CRM objects like contacts, companies, deals, and tickets, and their associations. Importantly, sensitive data properties and custom sensitive fields are excluded. We also don't allow copying of entire CRM records or customer lists through the connector. And the fourth is visibility and retention. We know that trust requires transparency and verification. That's why HubSpot audit logs give super admins visibility into who connected or reconnected the connector and when. We do suggest that you check OpenAI's audit logs and data policies for plan-specific details. Now, next, I'd like to suggest some simple steps to make sure that your setup supports your data privacy goals. The first is to review your user permissions in HubSpot. Double check that the right people have the access to the right data and nothing more. The connector will only surface what users are already allowed to see in HubSpot. The second is to check your OpenAI account settings. Make sure your OpenAI account is configured the way you want, especially around data storage, retention, and access controls. Each OpenAI plan, like Pro or Enterprise, offer different options. The third is to understand the terms on both sides. Your HubSpot terms and OpenAI's terms each govern how data is handled. Taking a few minutes to review both helps ensure your configuration aligns with your company's expectations and requirements. And last but not least, monitor with HubSpot audit logs. Use HubSpot's audit logs to keep tabs on connector activity, who connected and reconnected, when, for added peace of mind. Now, before I turn it over to Sejal to walk through a demo, we're going to open up a poll on how open your company is regarding experimenting with AI tools. Thank you all for your time.
Hey everyone, it's nice to see all the responses about openness. With AI tools, it's exciting to see this. Now that we've got all of the important questions about data privacy answered, let me show you how to get started with using the connector for your company. In the initial launch, we have added read-only access to the core CRM objects, that is your contacts, companies, deals, and tickets. But we can also access, the connector can also access associations. They are limited to these 4 core CRM objects. And what you can see inside HubSpot is exactly also what you get inside ChatGPT. So this is a good time to revisit your field level permissions, for example. And finally, to activate the connector, your company super admin needs to connect first. And after that, it's available to all the users in the HubSpot account to connect using their ChatGPT account. So let me show you how to set it up inside ChatGPT. Inside the ChatGPT window, you need to now select Run Deep Research. And when you go into that, you see sources. In sources, you can go to Connect More, and that's where you will spot HubSpot. Once you choose HubSpot, you can click Connect and review the privacy related matters here, and then continue to HubSpot. This presents the usual HubSpot authentication process where you select your account, review the permission. It has read-only access to your contacts, companies, deals, and tickets. And once you review the permission, you can go ahead and connecting to HubSpot. And that brings you back to ChatGPT. And you are good to start with your first prompt. Every deep research prompt requires you to select Run Deep Research and then make sure HubSpot is toggled on in one of the sources. Once that is done, you are good to start your first prompt. But before we go there, I want to ask you all, how do you see yourself engaging with this connector? It seems a lot of you are here for evaluating strategy or just learn to get inspired. And I think this is really a good time to start doing that. So before we go to demo, the second thing you need to know is about deep research and how is that different from chat. ChatGPT Deep Research is different from chat in many ways. Deep research typically stitches together multiple queries to multi-step workflows, and then it tries to deliver insights that are highly context-rich. And because it is performing complex flows, it takes about 7 to 10 minutes time, whereas regular chat gives you instant responses for much simpler questions. So deep research inside ChatGPT also thrives on additional context. So instead of asking it to pull all the unfiltered data set for every ticket, for example, or survey record, ask it to correlate ticket sentiment and say NPS to flag top 5 churn risk account out of all the customers within your specific ARR range. That's ARR range. So that's a good example of what a deep research can do for you. And these are not just 3 examples we've got for you. There's a lot more. If you need inspiration, we are going to share a whole new library, prompt library for you to get the most out of your deep research queries. From this library, you can simply copy and paste prompt based on the area that best fits your use case, and then adjust it by layering your company's context and get actionable insights right away. Before we go forward, I have another question for you. What use cases are you most excited to explore with HubSpot Deep Research Connector? Go ahead and answer your answer in the poll. Well, I see a lot of you are here for sales use cases, which is the right time to start with showing how Deep Research Connector can be useful for sales use cases next. And just last thing before we do that, this is the QR code for getting the full prompt library and direct link. You can scan the code and keep it here, keep it handy for you to start exploring right away. Let's jump into the demo. If you are a sales leader, this is the right thing for you. This prompt library shows not just sales, but it shows all the prompts for sales, marketing, and service. Not only that, we have also categorized all of the use cases, prompts based on use cases, for example, customer support, deal prioritization, funnel optimization, lead nurture, a lot more. And then you can filter for sales for getting the prompt for sales use cases. I particularly like this prompt really well, because as sales leaders who are looking to get the big picture about win rate comparison or average sales cycle length comparison between 2 quarters to find out what are the slowest stages and how do I make it better? What are the recommendation or tactics I can use to make it better? This is the right thing for them. So this is the prompt. You can just click and copy and get into ChatGPT window, paste it. We are showing you a recorded demo because deep research takes 10 minutes. Like I said, for every prompt, you have to select deep research and then make sure HubSpot is toggled on in one of the sources. I earlier talked about how to adjust the need to adjust the prompt based on your account's context. Now I'm using the demo account and I know that I don't have a lot of deals, which is more than 25K. So I won't get good results because I don't have enough data for that. So I'm adjusting the prompt for the data in my account to 10K. And then when I run the prompt, ChatGPT Deep Research always seeks clarifying questions, and that's because it tries to narrow down the context to give you the most insightful answers. In this case, it's asking me questions about what I want to focus on, what the slowest stage means, and I'm saying, minimum 3 deals is the slowest definition of slowest stage for me. So it keeps that in consideration. And then it starts the deep research once I answer all of the clarifying questions. As and when the research starts, you will start seeing the activity sidebar open up. And this sidebar starts showing the real-time live reasoning of the model. And you can understand what data it is getting and how it is processing the data and actually understand model thinking. You will see it's querying a large amount of data, and then it starts to go deeper by figuring out what records it wants to fetch in detail, and fetches those records in depth. And those records are getting added into the sources tab as and when it starts fetching. It also uses Python to analyze data in between. So it is doing a lot of steps in performing this research, just like a real life researcher would be doing in getting information, getting into the depth, getting more information, getting into deeper in that information, and then performing research to generate insights. In the end, you will see a full report of your insights. And this shows win rate and sales cycle analysis of 2-quarter comparison. But not just that, all of the sources it used are listed in the sidebar. And these are the real records inside HubSpot that it got deeper insights from. And you can jump into those HubSpot records and get started in working inside HubSpot right from there. On the site, the full report can also be downloaded. And this report shows key insights about the quarter's win rate. It says, for example, this quarter's win rate was significantly down from 78 to 60%, whereas it also says that average sales cycle improved by 10 days. These are really good insights for sales leaders to get a bird's eye view of what's happening with the business. At the same time, if you go down, it also identify, like we asked it to identify slowest stages and tactics and recommendation to improve on these stages. So it identified that and it provided tactics. So you can get bird's eye view. You can then get into use the citations available here, where inside the report, you can see HubSpot citations. You can use that to jump into HubSpot record and get right into the action. If you hover, you can see some glimpse into the citation, but you can also click and jump into HubSpot and just get started with acting on this insight right away. And that's the coolest thing I like about ChatGPT research mode is the citations, where it gives you a breadcrumbs to go back to HubSpot and get into action. So now that you know how to use deep research for sales, I'm going to hand it over to Vicky for showing how marketers can get the most out of it.
Thank you so much, Sejal, for showing us that. And for those of you who voted for marketing, this one's all for you. And as a marketer myself, I fully understand how important messaging is and how every single audience needs its own unique version, which is why I'm so excited to showcase you how to use this connector for marketing. So before we get started, we want to ensure this is set up exactly how Sejal had showed us earlier. And now I'm going to use a prompt that's actually available within the library, where our goal is to segment out each of our campaigns by industry based on their engagement and their activity. It'll then ask me those follow-up questions that was also shown in Sejal's presentation. And with the magic of copy and paste, I actually have all of the answers. And actually, by running this prompt, what it's going to do is actually pinpoint out to me which industries are the most responsive to my messaging and my campaign. And by taking the insights from this deep research analysis and report that it's eventually going to spit out to me, I can refine persona targeting and help me build more effective campaign strategies right in HubSpot, so that we're not just reaching more people, but the right people with the right message. And now, as you can see on the screen, the report has been outputted. And with this report, what I can see is that retail and software are my top performing industries and the most responsive to my campaigns. What I'll want to do is take these insights and all this new data and information that I have and apply this directly right back into HubSpot. And I'm going to do that just like how Sejal showed us. By clicking into sources, I can jump directly into the citations and go right into where I need to edit this within HubSpot. And it's just that easy to get started with this. And now I'm going to hand it over to Sejal to show us one last super exciting use case.
Yeah, we have something for everybody, including Service Hub professionals in the audience here, and how to get most out of deep research queries for Service Hub professionals. So let's go back to the prompt library. And here I have filtered by service. And this is one prompt I like the most. As PM, I've used this a lot, so I'm kind of familiar with this prompt as well. It says, identify top 10 most common customer pain points based on support ticket categories from past quarter, so that you can do a number of things. You can improve the resources using HubSpot CMS tools. You can update the KB articles. At the same time, you can also take away this for product improvement if you have close ties with product support professional. So let's copy this prompt, and then you can go back to ChatGPT and paste it. And like every time you need to select run deep research, make sure HubSpot is toggled on. For this prompt, however, I'm turning off web search because I don't want it to be distracted by web search. I want it to focus more on my HubSpot data. So this is, I'm starting the prompt, and ChatGPT Deep Research tends to ask clarifying questions. After I answer clarifying questions, it'll trigger the deep research. And it'll show the thinking like we discussed last time in the activities sidebars. And once you see the thinking and reasoning, you can also explore the HubSpot sources it is exploring while it is doing the research. And it takes about 10 minutes to perform this research. Once it's done, you can see it's showing the full report of complete customer pain point analysis based on all the support ticket for 1 quarter. And you can see here, the summary table is very well organized. It gives me top 10 pain point organized by ticket volume, segments affected, regions, priority, and also tells me common root causes and triggers. Not only that, it is expanding every single pain point into its in-depth analysis based on ticket data it's gathered and showing me segments and root causes. For things like core functionality bugs, it's also breaking it down based on detailed subcategories and telling me what is the problem customers are facing. So you can see this is a really in-depth report for all of the support pain points your teams might be facing. And this is good in-depth analysis there for you to get started and get into action right from this place inside HubSpot. As PMs, I can share one example of how I've used these prompts really well is we work with HubSpot's app partners a lot, and we gather their support questions and issues in a HubSpot instance as support tickets. And we often analyze support data for app and to understand what are the top 10 pain points our app partners are facing and what can we do to enhance their experience with HubSpot as app partners. So this is really highly recommended prompt that I would ask you to use and see what you get out of it. And finally, one last thing before we stop and head back to Melissa is best practices. You've seen how to use HubSpot Deep Research inside ChatGPT. I'm going to give you a really short list of best practices to get the most out of your deep research query. Our internal testing, we have seen that O3 model gives best outcomes. So I recommend you to use O3 model when you are using deep research queries. And context is everything. So don't forget to adjust the prompt library with extra details about your HubSpot account. If deals mean something else to you, say that. That makes a lot of difference in deep research queries. And finally, AI is as good as the data it powers. And that also applies for the HubSpot connectors for deep research as well. They rely on the data inside your HubSpot to be good. And bad data will give you less than ideal results or even questionable results. So you can always use a data quality command center and tools available there to not only just identify the issues in your data, but also find the tools right there to address the issues and fix them easily. So that is going to be very helpful to get your data AI ready. And finally, if you have used this connector, or even not, even if you haven't used it, we would like to understand why and get more of your feedback. We are a curious bunch. We are always on the lookout for feedback to improve our product experience for you. And so you can use this QR code to scan and get right onto the feedback form. And with that, Melissa, take it back.
Great. So awesome. Before we head into Q&A, I wanted to thank our speakers, Sejal, Ricky, and Nicole, and also to our amazing event producer, Eileen. We appreciate you all joining us today. And again, you can expect a follow-up email of today's recording and a few other helpful resources. Now, let's open it up to Q&A. I know you all had a lot of questions, tried to answer them as quickly as I could, but we'll also address, we have tons of time to address them live. All right, so a couple questions here. I'm a HubSpot partner who manages multiple HubSpot accounts. I actually saw quite a few of you ask questions around having multiple accounts. Can I connect a specific account to a ChatGPT project? So currently you can only connect one HubSpot account at a time to a single ChatGPT account. To work with a different HubSpot account, you'll need to disconnect the current one and reconnect the desired account from the ChatGPT side. While you can't manage multiple connections simultaneously, you can manually switch between those accounts. I know, not ideal. And then will the HubSpot Deep Research Connector have access to sensitive data? The HubSpot Deep Research Connector does not provide access to custom sensitive data properties, content, or similar services. This includes personal health information and other forms of what we define to be highly sensitive data just for data protection purposes. It has read-only access to standard records only, such as contacts, companies, deals, tickets, and their associations. On that note, actually, Sejal, I might kick this question over to you, but there were quite a few questions around if there are plans for including custom objects or the ability to include custom objects in what ChatGPT Deep Research can access through the connector.
Yes, I think we are starting initial launch really small to understand how you're going to use it, but at the same time, expanding to more data is certainly something we are considering. And hearing this feedback is just reaffirming the original hypothesis. So thank you for bringing this up. And I would love to hear more about what kind of use cases you would have for the custom objects as well.
Great. Another question that came in is I would like to better understand the difference between ChatGPT and Breeze as it relates to the HubSpot CRM. A really good question. Chris, I'm going to actually call on you. Chris is the head of our developer advocacy team, so he's joining us for some of the more technical Q&A.
Yeah. And by the way, everybody, thank you. This is super exciting. The questions that are coming in, they're all very focused and tactical. And Sejal, if you want to jump in, please do. So I wouldn't think about it so much as Breeze versus OpenAI connector. The workflows are very different. So you could certainly be in a scenario where you're using Breeze on a daily basis and the OpenAI connector on a more periodic basis for deep research. The key point is it's deep research. So the idea is that it opens opens up the possibilities with the breadth of things that you can do with your existing OpenAI accounts, and adding even more context across the board and from other sources if you so choose. Because, for example, in OpenAI, you can upload files, you can do all sorts of stuff that is not going to be related to a typical Breeze workflow, which a typical Breeze workflow is your day-to-day. So it's more rapid fire, it's seamless, it's integrated into your workflows, it's question and answers on the spot and not related to deep research. So most typically you're going to use Breeze on a daily basis and the OpenAI connector when you're, heaven forbid, preparing for a large strategic meeting where you need to have some very powerful slides with a lot of data and analysis associated with it. It's a good question, and it was asked across the board, and hopefully that helps.
Yeah, and our goal is to make sure you are productive wherever you are. So if you are inside ChatGPT, you are making sure you are not forgetting about HubSpot and you know your data in your HubSpot account. But if you are inside HubSpot, you have Breeze to get your answers answered and your questions answered and take actions really fast there as well. So we are making sure you get your productivity boost wherever you are.
We're also seeing a lot of questions come in, and I can just generally address this around other potential connectors and having your HubSpot customer context and data available on other preferred platforms outside of OpenAI and ChatGPT. I think some of you are asking about Gemini or Copilot, and your company will only allow you to access you're only pre-approved to access some of those platforms. And just generally speaking, we are working on additional partnerships with other LLM providers, and we really hope to be able to announce those soon. That's all I'm able to share on that topic, but it is a priority for us to try and work those out. So thanks there. We're also getting a ton of questions just for further clarification around does HubSpot charge for this as an additional service? On the ChatGPT side, what is the plan compatibility that's needed? One thing I do want to clarify is you cannot purchase a ChatGPT plan or a compatible ChatGPT plan through HubSpot. These are two distinct entities, and you just need to make sure that you have the right plans on both sides in order to be able to make this connector work. So I'm actually going to pass it over to Sejal. If you could speak a little bit more about what the plan compatibility needs to be on both sides for HubSpot and ChatGPT.
Yeah, HubSpot, you can connect or any HubSpot account. We have opened it up for every tier for HubSpot account. ChatGPT, it is paid tiers only, so you need to have a paid ChatGPT tier to connect HubSpot ChatGPT connector with that.
I'm going to pass the next question over to Nicole. It's specifically about EMEA. I know some people ask questions also from the UK. So is this available in EMEA? And if not, what is the approximate timeline for this rollout? Nicole?
Yeah, that's a great question. So OpenAI has not made deep research connectors available to their Pro or Plus subscription types in the EEA, so the European Economic Area, and Switzerland or the UK. And we don't have any updates at this time on when that functionality will be made available by OpenAI.
Great, thank you. And then Sejal, we've had a couple questions that I think I might toss back to you. With read-only access to contacts and companies, can ChatGPT see attached documents and documents contained in associated emails?
No, it can see the contacts, companies, deals, tickets associated to these objects. So the associations are today limited to contacts, companies, deals, tickets as well, and nothing else after that.
What about notes on records?
Not yet, no.
Okay. And then one more kind of related, can the connector access marketing email analytics and website page interactions on that marketing side use case?
As properties of contacts or companies, yes, but not as email content.
Okay, great.
So it can check the whether contact open and email last open date. These are all the properties existing on the contacts record pages, and it can access that. Again, those properties are limited to what you can see inside HubSpot. So what you have access in these properties inside HubSpot is what you will be able to access in ChatGPT as well.
Okay, I'm just trying to keep up with everyone's questions here.
It's an amazing number of questions. It's
I
so
know.
fun.
Is
It's
there a
so
favorite
fun,
that you
and
maybe want to answer,
we're gonna.
Chris?
I don't think I could. I don't think I could pick a favorite. I think we answered the multiple accounts, and there is something I would like to say, however, and it's really around prompts. So I think a lot of the questions can be answered by the structure of the prompts. That is if you have any concerns related to how fast you're getting a response or the quality of the response, you always start with your prompt. Some of the things that you can do with a prompt is be very discreet. You can tell the prompt to only use the information from the record as stated in the record, so it's verbatim and there's no modification to the data. But the prompt is where you want to spend most of the time thinking about what you're expecting to get back. So if you think about your expectations on what you want the what's it called, the shape of the data coming back to you to look like, you should give it to the prompt, and that will help a lot in terms of performance and quality of results you get. And if you want to provide even other context that doesn't directly exist inside of HubSpot to help you out.
One other thing theme that keeps coming through is I just want to reiterate that this is read-only access from the ChatGPT side to your HubSpot data, no write access. So it can pull data from HubSpot, but it can't write new information like back into HubSpot objects and records. So just want to make sure that that's clear as well. This is about like researching upon your data and deeply analyzing and getting insights out of it, but nothing going the other way back into HubSpot.
Yeah, and to that, there was a set of questions that we're kind of talking about from an administrative side. Can the OpenAI connector create sequences? Can it create workflows? It can't create them, so it will not instrument inside of HubSpot on your behalf. However, it is really cool to use it as a tool to give recommendations on what you would create as a sequence, and then you would go and implement it yourself. And that also works for workflows. I think that there's a lot of advancement that can be done in terms of like the prompts that you have there, but you can ask it to help you design a workflow, for example, based on outcomes that you're seeking or processes you're trying to automate.
Another question that kind of keeps coming up is around settings, and is this done at the enterprise level? I know it's done at the admin level. It's not user by user, right, Sejal?
Yeah, so the implicit approval mechanism we are building is that admin needs to connect first, and once they connect, everybody else can connect. Now, I know that's not enough, and we recognize that, and we are working to address the additional controls that you would be needing. Right now, there is one control though with you is you need to connect as an admin first, so that you are allowing everybody else to connect.
There's a question here. I don't know, I might throw it to you, Chris. Are there any plans around enabling functionality to query HubDBs? Or maybe that's Sejal.
Not yet. It cannot access HubDB or data stored inside HubDB. Right now, it can only access contact core CRM objects. There are 4 objects we listed.
Okay. And then while we're on you, Sejal, there was a question around accuracy. So have you had any issues with accuracy, especially since it's dealing with important reporting?
I'll go back to Chris's tips about prompts. I think if your a prompt is rock solid, the accuracy is much better with deep research because it relies on the context that you give. So as much information that you give in the prompt, it helps it understand and analyze data better.
Awesome. There was another really good question that came in. I think this is actually in our prompt library around what if I want to analyze lost deals? I really want to understand why we lost these deals based on notes, engagements, emails, etc. Is this a good use case for the connector?
Yes, yes, this is a fantastic use case for the connector. It can analyze your deal loss information, win-loss rate as well, and give you more insights that you wouldn't usually discover without deep research.
Yeah, I encourage everybody to just even gloss over the prompt library. You're going to get so many ideas from that, and it'll become clear that, and back to the Breeze question, that when you use the OpenAI connector, it's going to be a specific modality and task that you're trying to accomplish around research versus kind of like day-to-day operations. But the prompt library, I'm assuming you can read a lot of those and be able to intuit how that might be used to benefit your business, and how powerful that is.
From like again, from like an account perspective, like logistically, there's some questions around if multiple users can access the HubSpot deep research tool in ChatGPT on one single company account. I know going the other way, when you connect HubSpot to ChatGPT, that's like your entire organization, your entire
Yeah.
HubSpot portal gets pulled in. But from the ChatGPT side, can it be like one whole HubSpot organization logged in to ChatGPT, also pulling in that whole organization's HubSpot data
Uh,
per user?
yeah, I am not understanding the question correctly, but if it's about
I'll
like,
repeat it. It's
yes,
fine. Can
so
multiple users access the HubSpot Deep Research tool if they're on my company's ChatGPT account? So it sounds like on the ChatGPT side is the question.
yeah, I think you need one ChatGPT account for one HubSpot account. That's the connections. So for every HubSpot user gets to connect with their ChatGPT account. It's a one-to-one. So you need that, you need one account to one account mapping for that. And once you have your own ChatGPT account, you can connect with the HubSpot account that your company has as a user in that account and get data that you are allowed to access.
Sejal, would it be safe to say that the OpenAI to HubSpot connection is at a portal level, but security is at the user level because it respects this
Yes,
security, and OpenAI itself is at a user level?
yes.
Um, let's see what else. Sorry. Going back to accuracy, there were some questions around hallucination. I know it's part of the FAQs in our knowledge base article already, but can you just address what are the expectation of hallucinations when it comes to the quality of the response from ChatGPT?
Oh, I think I was just answering that one.
Oh,
Or do
sorry.
you want to answer that one? No, I was just answering it, man. Yeah, I think it goes back again to the prompts are really, really important. If you give a very open-ended question, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't like use terminology that, and you do not define the shape of the response you want back. When I say shape of response, I'm literally talking about the structure and how the data in HubSpot is delivered back to you, then you might have hallucinations. There's no way for us to quantitatively know the percentage of hallucinations. It's not, from my test, it's not very frequent at all. But I recommend that you always give the prompt the shape of the data you want back. So if it's a list of contacts, you want the contacts as they are stated in the CRM, and not leave it up to modification for OpenAI to intuit or interpret that data as it comes across. It needs to take it like verbatim. That's probably the biggest thing I think thematically that has come across. Now, when it's delivering insights and it is giving an opinion based on data, hallucinations can happen. So, as always, you don't want to take this information, put it on a slide, and present it in front of your leaders the next day. You should do some cross validation. Does it seem accurate? Do we feel confident in the results? If any of you have looked up how AI does math, it does not do math the way calculators do math. So it's important to give it the instructions of what you want back. And yes, you should review it. So if you see something that looks like 100% growth or sorry, 1,000% growth and it doesn't feel right, then you want to review that. And as a best practice, I recommend that you disclose how you got this information when you share it cross-functionally. It's usually a good practice to say that this data came from a deep research that we did with the CRM. Is that good?
Yes. I'm trying to keep up with everyone's questions in chat.
It's kind of fun actually.
Yeah, a lot of questions about where they can get your shirt, Chris.
Well, this one specifically is dated, but
Legacy.
this is for sure legacy. And we actually have a subset of a new series of legacy shirts with emojis that are coming out. But if you are a developer or you are somebody who is an administrator who is configuring and extending HubSpot for end users, make sure that you connect to our developer resources on developers.hubspot.com, our developer YouTube. Those are the best places to get opportunities to get swag like this.
Is anyone seeing any questions that they specifically want to answer?
There's a question about, I'm just typing the answer I can answer live is, the RKB says OpenAI integration is enterprise only. I opened that link that they shared. So this integration that they're talking about is about the workflow. So you can also get OpenAI action, ChatGPT actions inside workflows. So that is enterprise, but ChatGPT Deep Research Connector from HubSpot is available to all accounts. So these are two different things.
There was also a question that came through about can we set a permission to only allow certain people within an organization in HubSpot to connect to ChatGPT?
I recognize the need for that, and we are working actively to address these extra knobs and dials our admins want. If you have special requests, or if you have use cases around that area, I'm eager to learn from that. So you can send that over in the feedback form that we've shared.
Let's see. Sorry, people, please chime in as I'm sifting through all of these.
I think there were some questions around, and I actually don't know the answer, the recording of the webinar being shared in post email. I think we will also have an opportunity follow up potentially to answer some of the questions that have not been answered directly, but I think a lot of them have, as they have been bucketed, have been answered in live chat.
Yep. There's actually a really interesting question that came through, which is a bit of an internal debate that I think we're going through right now. Why can't I see this in my HubSpot integrations? I think it's important to note that this is different than things that are on the HubSpot marketplace that you may have installed into your HubSpot instance. Those are built on our app framework, whereas any sort of connector with an external service like ChatGPT or OpenAI is built on a different framework and so not listed in our marketplace. So while it is an integration, I would say of some type, it's not technically defined as the types of integrations you find in our marketplace and would be under like your connected apps or your integrations in your HubSpot portal. I don't know if anyone wants to add anything to that. But
I just think
definitely
it's
interesting times that are challenging us with these frameworks.
Yeah, and I think it just really speaks to the power of the platform side of HubSpot and our ability to move really, really quickly. Sejal and the extended team on all the stuff that we're doing related to AI and the agentic world. And just stay tuned, as Melissa said, you can expect to continue to see this path evolve with exciting things that are all meant to help you run your businesses more efficiently and with greater intelligence. Sejal.
Yeah, I've been answering some of the questions in the Q&A, and I love to see the questions around, can we have notes or task access, or can we have form submissions access All of these great input to us to understand what to build next for you. Do not forget to add your use cases for us in the feedback form, so we reach out to you for more details. And these are perfectly great use cases to understand for us to know what to build next.
Yep. Somebody asked a question around if it can generate Hubble.
Interesting.
It can, yes. It can, and it does a decent job. Decent job. I'd say if you are curious about using AI to build aspects of HubSpot, the connector is probably not the right tool. What ChatGPT does really well is give you kind of structure, scripted format of code. If you are interested in building out full projects, then I think you're going to look at Cursor, Replit, and tools of that sort to actually build solutions. Even then, it's not perfect, and we are doing some really cool things on the developer documentation side to help it be AI first and AI native. So you can also expect it to be improving rapidly if you want to use AI to actually build integrations into HubSpot. It's coming together very quickly.
I saw another interesting question. Now I lost it. Custom GPTs. I have a custom built GPT for the HubSpot Architect agent, and I'd like to enhance it with this connector. Does this connector work with custom GPTs?
To my knowledge, no, the connectors, custom GPTs do not support connectors yet, but that would be a good thing to look out for in OpenAI's roadmap.
Yeah, and it truly is on the OpenAI side, and that's true with projects as well. Doesn't currently work with those.
Yep. Okay. I think we've acknowledged quite a few of the questions and themes that are coming through. If you have anything that didn't get answered, or if you have feedback about the connector, please don't forget Sejal's form that she shared earlier around feedback. That's the best way to get in touch with us and share your feedback, get your questions answered if they weren't answered here, if you have follow-up questions. Thank you everyone for your time today. And again, we'll be emailing the recording to you and any follow-up resources that we've mentioned here today. Really appreciate you spending time with us and asking such thoughtful questions, and I hope you all have a great day.